Hello there. Today I'm here to inform you on how to create a machinima with a series of games called Halo. You may be wondering what a machinima is, and according to Google, a machinima is the use of real-time computer graphics engines to create a cinematic production. Most often, video games are used to generate computer animation. Machinima-based artists, sometimes called machinists or machinimators, are often fan laborers by virtue of their reuse of copyrighted materials. In simpler terms, a machinima is basically a film of some kind that is created using a video game. Halo is the most common game used for machinima, but there are others that get used, such as The Sims, Minecraft, and GTA. I believe the reason Halo gets used so often is because the Halo games usually have built-in machinima features and settings, which makes it much easier. In this video, I'll be going through each Halo game and briefly explaining the pros and cons for each when it comes to making a machinima. After that, I'll be going over the step-by-step process for making your own Halo machinima. And yes, this video is a Halo machinima. Welcome to Reach, which came out in 2010. Reach has some of the best armor customization in the entire Halo series. In Reach, you can choose your helmet, left and right shoulders, chest, wrist, a utility, which is a variety of things that can be put on your armor, knees, and visor color. You can also choose your primary and secondary colors. Reach is considered by most of the Halo community to be the best game in the series. Even though the game is over 10 years old, the graphics still look good, and will look fitting if your machinima is going to be more like a war film. Many also consider Reach's Forge to be the best in the series, until Halo 5 came out, which is good because it lets you make a variety of environments for your machinima to be set in. Reach is a really good game, and if you need a break from working, just hop into the campaign, because it's one of the best story modes I have ever seen in a game, and I've been gaming since the days of the GameCube. One of the things Halo is known for is the fact that regardless of how good you are at Halo, no one is capable of driving the vehicles without doing at least one roll per turn. Since Reach is the fourth game in the series, the vehicle controls are a bit better than previous games, but at this point, I think the lack of control is done purposely as a running gag throughout the franchise. While Reach has its flaws, I do believe it is one of the better Halo games for machinima making. This is Halo Combat Evolved, which came out in 2001. Since Combat Evolved is the first in the series, it has some of the more limited customization. In Combat Evolved, you cannot change your armor and can only pick your primary color as well as your visor color. Seeing as Combat Evolved will be turning 20 years old later this year, it is understandable that the graphics aren't the best looking. While Combat Evolved may not look the best, it sure has a lot of nostalgia, since many consider it to be the reason multiplayer shooter games are as popular as they are today. Combat Evolved does lack a Forge mode, so you gotta make do with whatever objects and vehicles are available on the maps that you use. Combat Evolved easily has the worst vehicle control of any game, and definitely has the wonkiest physics. Just look at these warthogs colliding. While it is possible to make machinima in Halo Combat Evolved, it definitely isn't easy, and using another Halo game would likely be beneficial. Now we are in Halo 2, which came out in 2004. Halo 2's armor customization is about the same as Combat Evolved. You can still not change armor, but you can not change visor color this time. Most things about Halo 2 are similar to Combat Evolved. There is no forge, the vehicles are still a tad wacky to drive, and you still need to work with what each map has to offer. Even though 2 only came out 3 years after Combat Evolved, there is a bit of improvement in graphic quality. Just like Combat Evolved, a Halo 2 Machinima is possible, but other games are easier to work with. This is Halo 2 Anniversary, which came out in 2014. Halo 2 Anniversary lets you change primary and secondary color, but this time you can change your helmet, left and right shoulders, chest, legs, and forearms. Halo 2 Anniversary does come with a Forge mode, so you are no longer limited with the game's pre-made maps. Since there was a large time gap between the original Halo 2 and Halo 2 Anniversary, the difference in vehicle control is very noticeable. Graphics-wise, there is a huge difference as well. I definitely think that a Halo 2 Anniversary Machinima is more doable than a Machinima in the original Halo 2. We are now in Halo 3, which came out in 2007. Halo 3 had the best armor customization of the series at the time it came out. For the first time, you are not limited to just one or two colors, because Halo 3 allows you to have 3 colors on your armor. You can change your visor color, helmet, left and right shoulders, chest, and tech suit, which is the outfit under the armor, and is most commonly black. In a future update, you will also be able to change arms and legs. Halo 3's graphics are definitely better than Halo 2. The vehicle control is decent, but nothing to brag about. I personally enjoy Halo 3, but that's probably because it was used for Red vs. Blue Season 8, which is my favorite season of the show. Halo 3 is the first game in the series to feature the Forge mode. Halo 3 is better optimized for making Machinima, but other games are better. This is Halo 3 ODST, which came out in 2009. ODST is a bit lacking in customization, but I won't be too hard on it because it is more of an extension of Halo 3 rather than a full game on its own. You can choose from pre-designed options and then choose your primary and secondary colors, but they don't really show up that well. ODST is probably the least popular for making a Machinima. It has no Forge mode, vehicles are only available depending on the map, and only has one multiplayer mode, which makes filming difficult. If you want to make a Machinima in ODST, you either need to jump into the campaign or the multiplayer mode called Firefight. Both are difficult to work with because you'll probably be shot at by enemy AI consistently. I do not recommend ODST for Machinima making because of how difficult it would be. Since ODST is more of an extension of Halo 3 rather than its own game, the graphics have changed very little. We are now in the very controversial Halo 4, which came out in 2012. While Halo 4's story may be lacking, its customization is on par with Reach. You can change your helmet, left and right shoulders, chest, forearms, legs, and visor color. You can choose your primary and secondary colors as well. Halo 4 may be the most debated among fans, but the graphics have improved since Reach. I personally think that 4 has the best control over vehicles out of any Halo game. Halo 4 does have a Forge mode and introduces a new group of weapons and vehicles that belong to a faction known as Forerunners. I would say Halo 4 is a good game for making Machinima, especially if you plan on having it be heavily based on vehicles. Finally, we are back in the world of Halo 5 Guardians, which came out in 2015. Halo 5 easily has the most Machinima features of any Halo game. There's even a specific mode in the game's settings that is called Machinima. Halo 5's Forge is easily the best in the series and allows for the most customization of objects. Halo 5 even allows you to place various sized green screens, which lets you insert whatever you want into your Machinima during the editing process. As good as Halo 5 is, it does have its flaws. Halo 5 has the most limited armor customization since the original Halo 2. Halo 5 only lets you choose from a pre-designed armor, which covers everything from the neck down, a helmet, and a visor color. You then can choose the primary and secondary colors for your outfit. If you are a beginner with Halo's Forge mode, I don't recommend starting with 5, because while it is the most advanced and useful, it takes quite a bit of time to master. One of the biggest complaints about Halo 5 is the fact that it is the first in the series to not support split screen, which means that in order to have more than one person on screen at a time, you either need to have some friends online or be very good at editing. Luckily, I had a friend who was willing to help me film most of this video, which also came in handy for the Combat Evolved and original Halo 2 scenes. The graphics in Halo 5 are the best in the series so far, and vehicle control is a good balance between perfect and the lack of control that old Halo fans are used to. I think Halo 5 is the easiest for making a machinima, but the lack of split screen is a big negative. Now that you know the advantages and disadvantages of using each game, let's start going through the step-by-step process of making a Halo machinima. While doing research for this video, I came across a user on the 343 Industries community forum known as Donut. And no, I am not talking about the character Franklin Delano Donut from the popular web series Red vs. Blue. Donut took the time to make a very detailed post to the forum that goes through his machinima making process. Before getting too far into this process, Donut talks about what software to use when editing and putting the finishing touches on your machinima. In his post, he brings up Sony Vegas Pro 11 and Adobe After Effects. While I'll take Donut's word for it that these softwares are good, I personally use iMovie, and that seems to work fine. Next, Donut talks about writing your script and performing the voice acting for your characters. When writing your script, a few key points to remember are to name your characters, name the locations in the story, and don't rush it, take your time. It is also important to be creative. For the voice acting, take as much time as you need. You will not get it right on the first try. Keep redoing it until you are satisfied with the dialogue. If you want to edit how your voice lines sound, Donut also includes a link to Audacity, which has many effects to put on a character's voice. Donut then talks about possibly the most difficult part of making a machinima, the body acting. Unless you plan on acting out every character, you need to find people that are willing to listen to you so that you can get scenes you are satisfied with. Action scenes will take time to get just right, so don't get frustrated.
I'll murderize you!
If you plan on having fight scenes, make sure there is build up to the fight, but not too much build up. Make sure the audience is interested in what is going on. Next is the camera work for your machinima. Once you act out your scenes, you can use Halo's theater mode, which is not in Combat Evolved or the original Halo 2, so camera work will be talked about separately for them. Theater mode lets you go back and watch what you've done in Halo and view it from different angles, so you can record your scenes from the correct angles. Donut recommends starting your machinima by having the camera aimed at some scenery before moving over to the first scene. You should never have a still camera unless the scene is just characters talking. Since Combat Evolved and the original Halo 2 do not have theater mode, you will need at least one cameraman to record scenes by having whatever the cameraman is looking at get captured in a way that will allow you to find it again later. The final step before finishing your machinima is deciding on music. Donut lists off a variety of music, some of which I used earlier, but as long as you don't get caught by the copyright police, just use whatever feels right to you. That is pretty much the step-by-step process of how to make a Halo machinima. Just remember to take your time and have patience. Before I end this video, I just wanted to bring up one thing that will take your machinima to the next level. Something that the show Red vs. Blue has become known for is animated fight scenes. For seasons 8 through 17, RVB has used a program called Poser for its fight scenes, but for the recent season 18 called Zero, the team at Rooster Teeth decided to switch over to Unreal Engine for the animation. I personally have yet to animate anything like this, but have started looking into Unreal since that seems easy to use. In conclusion, making your own Halo machinima will be a very time-consuming thing, and will require you to not get frustrated. If you ever need inspiration, or just want to see some high-quality machinima, I recommend the show Red vs. Blue, as well as the YouTube channel Chronicler177, who has been making machinima for years and has used every Halo game except Combat Evolved in the original Halo 2.